Hey, I'm Tristan. I did my assessment over Oliver, a fourth grade student. He is diagnosed with ADHD, and he is very intelligent and very creative, but he struggles with mathematics. Um, and so I decided to begin by assessing him over third grade TEKS, and then seeing how he did, I was going to move on to the fourth grade TEKS. And so for the first part of the assessment, I chose to have him just represent fractions with a picture. And so I gave him fractions and I drew shapes, and so I did 1/2 in a circle and square, and I did 2/4, a third. I did all these fractions that he should know, and he was able to represent all of them with a picture successfully. He was able to partition the picture and the shape, and then shade the correct amount, and so that was a success. That was just for me to see his basis of fraction knowledge, and so that gave me a good idea of where to move forward. And so then I decided to go to the third grade TEKS, and I did comparing fractions and equivalent fractions. And so to start off, I gave him these I cut out some of them, but I gave him these little fraction cards. And first I had him find all of the fractions that were equal to 1/2. So he chose 2/4, 3/6, and so on. And so then I had him put 1/2 there, and I had him pick a fraction that was larger than 1/2. And he had the pictures there, so it was a little bit easier, but then I covered up the pictures for part of it and made him only use the numbers. And he was able to compare fractions. He knew which ones were equivalent, which ones were not. And so I wanted to, rather than him having the worksheet and the pictures given to him, I wanted to see how he did when he had to come up with the pictures. And so I gave him this sheet of equivalent fractions, and that's an example problem. He had to do 1/2 is equal to how many over 6, and so first he had to color the 1/2 in one color, and then he had to color however many were equal, and so he was able to see them line up, which helped him. It's like a fraction bar, it helped him see. And so then he put 1/2 is equal to 3/6, which is correct. And so we did that for quite a few problems, and you'll see here, let me see where it was. Right there, he started to do 1/2 is equal to 1/2 is equal to 4/9, and he started coloring, and then he looked and he compared and he self-corrected and realized it was equal to 3/9. And so that was really good to see that he understood equivalent fractions, so I was able to better see that he mastered the third grade TEK for that. And so I also had a similar worksheet where but the denominator for the second fraction was not given, so he had to do that himself. And he only made one mistake, and that's where he said 1/4 is equal to 1/8. I think that he did good. And so then I wanted to move on to fractions on a number line and see how he did well with that, and he did really well. This is an example of what I gave him, but he had to cut out these fractions and paste and put them where they belong on the number line, and that was a success. He had a little bit of trouble with the eighths, but we were able to talk it through and look at the numbers and we used our pattern blocks to see 1/8 compared to 2/8 compared to 3/8, and he was able to put them in order at that point. So those were the third grade TEKS, and he seemed to master those well, and so I wanted to move on to adding fractions. I know some of the number line and the equivalent fractions and comparing fractions were fourth grade TEKS, and so it's third and fourth grade TEKS, and he seemed to do well in them, and so we moved on to adding fractions. This was a struggle for him because, as you can see, for 1/4 plus 1/4, he added straight across. 1 plus 1 is 2, 4 plus 4 is 8. And he did that on all of them. But when he had the picture here, he knew that it was 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. And so I noticed that I let him do the whole worksheet even though he was not doing it correctly, just because I wanted to see if he would self-correct. He never did. So 1/8 plus 4/8, he put 5/16. And 2/6 plus 3/6, he put 5/12. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but then I basically decided to give him the pattern blocks, and he did really well with them. He was able to see them, and so he was able to see 1/8 plus 1/8, or 1/6 plus 1/6, and 1/2 plus 1/2. And so for adding and subtracting, I just think he needs concrete, hands-on visual examples. And so for me to guide his instruction, if I'm teaching him adding fractions, I would give him manipulatives, and if I'm introducing a new concept, give him manipulatives, hands-on activities before, so he can move from the concrete to the abstract. And so that's how I would use this.